Hey ho, hello there! Welcome to episode 16 of the GVGCast. The fun's over, everybody. I'm your host for today, Ash Paulson, and all of us dads are back. Steve Bowling and Derek Bittner, my good friends and GVG co-founders. We are back in the driver's seat for GVGCast, and like I said, that means the fun's over. The kids are in bed, and we're cleaning everything up. No, as you know, John, Brandon, and Daniel took the helm for the last couple of weeks.
I think we're getting Ash Man right now because according to our live audience, we got Echo Ash.
Echo Ash. Oh, man.
Echo Ash.
Robotic.
Let's
The only
see.
thing you can hear me once is hear me twice, apparently.
There we go. Okay.
Maybe worse.
Should be better now. Sorry about that. I was listening to Ash in my headphones and I
Who
forgot that
doesn't want
last.
Ash in stereo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ash
who
in
doesn't?
stereo, now in stereo.
Apparently,
But
I'm
yeah,
in stereo. I'm in stereo too, but I'm guessing you fixed it for me as well.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't remember, 2 whole episodes ago, we had our video service crash like right in the middle of the episode, and I had to like scramble to put it on Discord. And so I had to make audio changes as well to get the show back up and running. And I forgot all the changes I made because it's been 2 weeks since I've done this. So hopefully it's all good now.
so as you all know, as Steve just said, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been here, at least on the show. John, Brandon, and Daniel took over GVGcast for a couple of weeks because we just wanted the kids to run amok. No, basically, Steve and Derek and I were all traveling at various points over the past couple of weeks. And, we wanted to give you a show of a different flavor. We know they killed it. They did an amazing job. But somewhere along the way, they adopted this narrative that they are the GVG kids and we are the GVG dads. Now, I feel quite lucky because I get the benefit of being called a GVG dad without actually being a biological dad. I don't have kids. Steve and Derek do.
Yeah,
I don't.
bullshit.
But apparently, I'm like, last week I was
The funny
called the
thing
daddiest
is, John
of the
has
GVG
kids. So
dads.
I guess he's just going age based because John's a kid, and I guess that makes us all grandpas at that point.
Wow.
Right?
Juan
Let's slow
Delgado
down.
cutting to the meat of the issue here.
No, let's slow down. I'm not ready to be a grand GVG granddad yet. But I did text my wife because somebody last week apparently called me the daddiest of all GVG dads, which I just texted my wife. And I was like, how do you feel about that? And she's like, this is weird. What are you talking about? I'm like, okay, fair enough. I don't even really
She
know what it
stays
means
out
either.
of the meme culture. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means either, but it sounds like it's a good thing to be considered a dad.
It
in this
sounds
context.
like a horny thing.
People
Let's be
generally
real.
like dads.
Yeah.
I think.
But so I actually was around last week, but I was unfortunately sick, and I'm still a little sick, but I'm feeling well enough to be here, obviously, because I'm here. But I want to hear all about your travels, guys. Steve, let's start with you. What were you doing? Have you been, man? How you doing? Where have you been? What's going on in your life, man?
As usual, anytime that I disappear from the show, something terrible happens, like to me as a human being. So, yeah, I went to my mom's house. No big deal. It was great because my kids have never been to my mom's house. And for those of you that know, my oldest daughter is 9. She just turned 9 and she's never been to my mom's house. Just because kind of co-parenting and issues with that can make it difficult, right? So we finally were able to cut through all the red tape involved and take a trip out to see my mom. So my mom got to have all of her grandkids in one spot for the first time in her life. So it was a big deal for her and I was very happy for her. But while I was gone, I developed an ulcer. And that
Oh,
is
man.
not a fun thing, it turns out. Like, I felt my age more starkly than I ever have in my life. And I don't know what it was. I think it was a combination of stress because I was trying to do my normal day job, but with 9 kids in the same house and a group of adults that aren't working during the day. So they're all talking and doing stuff. And I just remember thinking
That sounds impossible.
it
Ugh.
turns out. But
Yeah.
I remember thinking early in the day, I was like, oh man, my stomach hurts. And then the next day I was like, my stomach is weirdly hard. And then I'll save y'all all the gross parts of it, but suffice it to say, it became very evident that something was extremely wrong.
Oh, man.
I just the one thing I will say is I ended up throwing up at one point, and it was just blood. I had been punched in the stomach by Goku in an episode of Dragon Ball or
That would
something.
terrify me, man.
It did. It's really scary, apparently, when blood comes out of places you don't think it should be coming out of.
I really shouldn't. Yeah.
So yeah, the hot chicken came back, but I was definitely really really worried, and then I waited till I got home here, till I returned from my trip, and I went and saw a doctor, because you should, if something's wrong, kids, go see a doctor. This is your dad.
I'm sort of doctor averse, but if I'm vomiting blood,
Yeah,
that's a sign to go to the doctor.
I'm honestly pretty doctor averse too, because I'm like, I don't want to know what's wrong if I don't feel it.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
I don't want them to come in and be like,
pay for it. If it was free,
Yeah.
sure, whatever. Give me the checkup.
yeah.
Around like what day would you say your symptoms got really bad with your ulcer, Steve? I'm just curious because I had a really bad stomach issue recently too, and I'm wondering.
It was definitely Friday, because I
Okay.
remember like Thursday I was like, oh, things are bad. Friday I was like, oh my god, like my mom was like pouring coffee down my throat because she's addicted to Starbucks, and so like
nice.
I got to the point where I was like, nope, don't want to drink anything, don't want to eat anything. I was like, leave me alone. Like, I feel like a cat on hospice. Just bring me a bottle of water and I'll figure the rest
Why
out.
is she putting coffee down your throat when?
If you have an ulcer,
Well, not even that. It has, even if you're just not feeling well, like coffee
My-
does not help.
My
Water, man,
my mom
water.
loves coffee. Like, it is her favorite thing in the world.
oh,
and
I think your
she's-
mom and I need to talk about.
I
our
have
shared
the
love
Ash
of
Paulson
coffee.
of moms for sure.
Yeah.
This isn't like the
That's a really
Windex
weird
of
thing.
Big Fat Greek Wedding. This isn't the cure-all. That coffee will not do anything.
No,
I don't
it
think
made
the
me.
Ash Paulson of moms is an image that anyone
No
wants.
wonder
to
you're
have.
Yeah,
coughing up
coffee,
blood.
and like an idiot, you know, I didn't change my eating habits despite this. I just ate less of the things that I always eat. So I was like, you know what would go good with this extreme stomach pain? Coca-Cola.
Dude, you are killing me. You are killing me.
No, I was killing me. That's what I was doing. I was actively
Oh,
chipping away at my
man.
own HP. So, but yeah, I got home and they're like, "You did what?" Like, my doctor was like, "You did what?" Come on, man.
How,
Like, you're supposed to be smart.
Steve?
I thought.
I'm almost positive you're out to kill yourself.
Well, I switched to water for one. I'm
Okay,
drinking
good.
water.
That's
Thank
a-
you.
Water.
That's I have. I'm equipped for both. I have water and coffee, just in case I get an ulcer during the episode. I got the water, but if I don't, I'm gonna keep drinking coffee.
Well, I'll tell you if you, yeah, you know what, Vidron, I did try coffee Coke. It is one of the
It's so
worst things in the
gross.
world.
It's so gross,
That
right?
doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know who at Coca-Cola thought that was a good idea. They're like, let's just pour like an old latte in this cup of flat Coke. It'll be fine.
RexCQ says, Ash, what the hell, man? LOL. Dude, have you met me? I always have coffee on hand during an episode of pretty much anything we do here on the
Yes.
channel. I'm the coffee guy. That's just who I am.
I
I'm
don't think
basically
coffee
go-go.
does anything for you because you can drink it at any time of night and still. Well, I say still get to sleep, but then you are up till like 4 a.m. So never mind.
It doesn't have a huge effect on me anymore. I honestly just really like the taste and smell. I really love coffee. It's not just for the caffeine. It's not even for the caffeine anymore. I just like the taste of it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly.
Even before the ulcer, I couldn't drink a cup of coffee without taking a trip to the bathroom within
Oh, really?
half an
Yeah.
hour. Yeah.
Dad Off Alliance says decaf. Am I a joke to you? Honestly, decaf, yes, is a joke to me. I'm glad for everyone out there who loves it, but it doesn't taste the same. It does not taste. It's like drinking non-fat milk. It doesn't taste the same. I gotta have the real stuff. What can I say? Your story, Steve, reminds me of a friend I had who he once had a really bad stomach like thing going on, and he was obviously very sick. And I found out that his siblings were picking up chicken McNuggets for him to take care of him. And I'm like, of all the things you would feed somebody with a stomach virus or whatever the hell he had, you're gonna feed them McDonald's? Like, not
It's
anything else? Like what?
My God, has nobody heard of the Brat Diet? Bananas, rice.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the dad and Derek talking.
Oh my
They
God!
hand you that
I know
info
this
when you're a
because
kid.
when we got Kai back, he had a stomach ache and was not feeling well, and that you don't know what to do for him. The poor kid could not keep anything in his stomach without not throwing it up, but the other method,
Violently ejecting it.
yes.
Jeez. Oh
And
man.
the poor kid was just dealing with all that, so we're trying to figure out the best things to give him and keep him, healthy and going. But poor kid was not feeling very well.
Jeez.
So
Well,
it's probably why it's also in my head. It's like, no, gotta go with kind foods to yourself.
Yep, bread, rice, applesauce, and toast, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
applesauce and toast.
Bland.
I think you can get saltines in there as well.
Okay, that's all teens. Fair enough.
Stuff like that.
But
Chicken noodle soup broth. There's stuff that you can eat that is not chicken
Exactly.
nuggets.
That's
chicken
true.
nuggets or coffee when you have a stomach issue. Like, geez, come on. Derek, speaking of you, man, you've also been out and about on your own vacation of sorts. What went down, man? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was a good time. Real quick before I get too far, though, Amy's telling me that my voice seems lower than all the rest of you. So while I'm talking, Ash, I'm assuming Steve can fix me up. But my vacation, first vacation in 2+ years, I want to say. It's been a while. Especially, and it's the first time Amy and I have been away from Kai for longer than a day, and even that was kind of recent. Basically, my mom took care of Kai for the week. And we met up with her. She took Kai. He got to hang out with his cousins, have a good old time, go all around. And Amy and I got to go to my friends and I's beach trip that we've done every year since graduating high school.
That's awesome.
I think we're
Nice.
scary enough. I think we're approaching our 20th year of doing this.
Oh man, yeah,
That's
fun.
you want to feel age right there.
Jeez.
But it really isn't like anything crazy or anything like that. We just go to the Outer Banks, rent out a house with like 11 to 13 of us, depending on the year, and just chill. Board games, card games, using the pool, going to the beach on occasion, hanging out, video games, bad movies, whatever. You just
Nice.
we watch it all, and it's just a nice relaxing time. I had the chance to just, and this shows you how much of a nerd I am. I had a chance to just sit down and play Final Fantasy 14 for
Nice.
a good chunk and just enjoy myself going through the most of this game and just doing a lot of the extra stuff. And I don't know, just enjoying more of it. It's it was just nice, and then getting to play games and stuff with my friends. It was a good time, nice and relaxing. The thing with those types of places, though, beds are never great, so we just have to deal with not great beds. But overall, it was a good time. I feel bad though because I failed to protect Amy from a scary bad movie. we told it was a horror movie.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the movie Hardware, Ash? Since you're a purveyor of bad movies.
No, but I will put it on my list.
It's a 1990s movie about a apocalypse movie that makes no sense. They go into all this detail, has this this crazy setup that's a Mad Max-ish that they never really fully go over. They say it's the apocalypse, but they have running water, refrigerators, showers. It's like something about this is not adding up. But a killer robot eventually goes haywire and starts attacking people, and it has Porkins from Star Wars as just the worst pervert ever, like just gross as all hell. And between that and his super violent death, poor Amy was a little scarred.
Oh man,
jeez.
It's like. The worst part of it, though, the flashing lights. It is like a color palette of red and just constantly flashing these lights that just drive me intense. We were getting active headaches. Amy turned on a backlight. Really helped us out because it is not a good movie. I wouldn't even call it a fun bad movie. It just
doesn't sound like it. Well, that just means that the next time you have to watch The Room, man. If you haven't yet, you got to watch.
That was brought up, and I don't know why we didn't do it because there's like three of us there. There was like three of us there that hadn't seen it before, so I don't know why we didn't choose The Room.
It's one of the best movies ever, and I'm not even saying that ironically. It's so fun.
You definitely are.
I feel like seeing Tommy Wiseau's ass is less scarring than that movie.
Probably.
How many scars does he have on his ass?
I don't know.
I think I'd rather not.
I really
know.
don't.
But what our audience should know before we move on is that we have a sponsor for today's episode, and that is, of course, The Game Orb. The Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Splatoon 2, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and Super Mario 64 can be seen on the channel, along with others, The Game Orb will also now be adding Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu to the gaming collection. So be sure to subscribe to The Game Orb at the link in the description, and as always, I'm going to post it in our YouTube chat as well. So thank you, Eddie, for everything as always.
Yeah.
You've been supporting us at the sponsorship tier literally from the very beginning of GVG, and we can't thank you enough. So please, everybody watching, go show Eddie some love if you haven't already, and make sure to subscribe and check out his awesome content. And I just posted it in YouTube chat, so please make sure to go do that. Where is it? Where'd it go though?
Well, in the meantime, should we start reading a lot of these? We got a lot of super chats coming in. Like, holy cow!
Super chats. First of all, we have Jaden Buck with $10. Thank you, Jaden. Crazy Question Fridays. Crazy question number 41. Have you ever been able to subtract two numbers in the thousands, digits, or higher from each other without using a calculator?
No.
Yeah. 5,000 minus 5,000.
Well, if we're going that simple, then yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I know.
I assume they were talking about something more complex.
No, I assume that too. I just wanted to be a troll. No, if it's something more like complex than the obvious ones, then no, probably not. I'm not a math guy. I fully rely on calculators. Screw math.
I don't need
about
calculators. I can do it.
Fair enough.
I can do it. That's only because I'm teaching my kid math though, and so I've had to bone up a lot.
All right, Steve. Then bone up now. 5,637 minus 2,248. Go. I'm kidding.
I was working on it.
You could put out any answer, and Ash would be like, "Yeah, sure, that's an answer."
That's true.
Yeah,
I'd be like 11, and he'd be like, "All right."
I just wanted to say, Steve, bone up right now. That's really why I said that.
Listen, man, I've got two kids already. My boning days are over.
Oh God. Oh man. Well, I would say, speaking of boning days, but that wouldn't be an appropriate segue. So I'm just going to say our next super chat, Aramis Baramis with $100. Holy crap! Thank you so much. You are always so incredibly generous. You all are. And $100 saying, "Hi GVG crew. Here's to another great cast. Here to show some support." Jesus, thank you so much.
You.
I don't even know what to say every week. You were so kind and so generous. Thank you very much. Next up, Zeno Luxcare with $10. Maybe Zeno Luxcare. I'm not sure. With $10. Thank you. Steve should tie a ribbon around his forehead and will look like Ryu from Street Fighter 6.
That is the highest compliment because I'm fat, bro.
It
is a high compliment because Ryu's hot in SF6.
That's what I'm saying. He's like a hot dad. I feel.
They leaned into everybody loved the dad Ryu costume. Is like, okay, let's just make that the main thing because people loved it.
Yeah, I'm coming around more and more on Ryu's design. I'm sure we'll talk about it more in a little bit, but I'm coming around on the character designs in SF6, not FF6.
Right. I am too, and we'll be talking about Street Fighter 6 a little bit later today in the episode. Although you should know the roster has apparently since been leaked. We won't be talking about the leaked roster. We know
specifically.
Specifically, we know a lot of you out there might not want to know who's in the roster, so we're going to be very careful about that in terms of spoilers. But be careful if you're, curious about Street Fighter 6. There are roster spoilers out there now. Next super chat is RecBTQ with $5. Thank you very much. I need to rewatch the State of Play because I got distracted drawing Steve LeChonk, which I still have not seen. I need to see this. I want to see Steve LeChonk.
I'm going to post that in the live audience chat right now.
Oh, please do. I want to see this.
Yeah, I've not seen it myself.
Let's see.
I'm still just imagining Ryoma.
Ashley Bird, I agree with you in our YouTube chat. My favorite Street Fighter 6 character, Luigi. Right? He is the best.
It doesn't work. Let's see. Oh, no. Hold on. I need to copy the image. He sent it to me in a DM on Twitter, and Twitter uses a weird file format for their pictures.
Right.
I'm hoping that just doing a copy image will work. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
That's pretty good.
That's
really good.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really good. Well done. Well done, Rec.
Neon is telling us that it isn't the entire roster since the leak said 25 characters and there's only 22 images, so we're missing 3.
Right. But it's the vast majority of the roster, and we don't want to spoil that for everybody just in case.
It is really wild, though. Like, if you followed that leak, how much of SF6 is ready? Because there's video of some of the characters, like a video of one of the...
deep.
Yeah, a video of one of the characters, I won't say who because it's, not a character that they've shown, doing their super move is out and available for you to find in the ether. And then there's a video of an in-game menu that shows a ton of different characters that haven't been announced yet. And so it's like it seems like the game is far closer to completion than than maybe most of us realize.
Right. No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, it's obviously way further in development than we realized, and it's wild that it's still not coming out till next year. Same thing with FF16. We had we had them come out and say essentially, oh, it's ready. Like, it's pretty much ready. It's playable from start to finish. It's going to be out sooner than you think, and it's still coming out next year, which is kind of weird. But it's funny, as Brandon, my son, apparently, canonically, Brandon is apparently my son now. My son just posted in our live audience chat that the official Street Fighter Twitter account has owned up to the leak, saying, as residents of Metro City, we've all seen things we weren't supposed to see, but we're all in this together. We appreciate all the positive reactions. Thank you for the support. So they came right out and admitted it.
It's impossible to deny.
Yeah.
There are leaks that are dubious, and then there's this stuff. Like, you can't fake in-game footage and character art and all this stuff in 24 hours. It's just not possible.
Right. Yeah, completely. Sturlson with 10 Sturlson, I believe. Yes, with 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. You're a new name in our chat. I'd like to see new names. Thank you. Hey, GVG, had a 2-year relationship that just ended. Glad to be tuning in. Thank you for the good vibes and all that you do. Well, Sturlson, I am so incredibly sorry for that. Breakups are the worst. We've all been through them.
Yep.
It's just such a horrible thing to go through, and I'm so sorry for your loss. That's terrible, and I hope we can bring you some good vibes today and help the end of your relationship hurt a little bit less. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Really sorry.
Thank you.
Next is Ethan Clegg with $10. Thank you very much, Ethan. Longtime fan here. I don't super chat much, but I wanted to say thanks for getting me into RPGs. Among other games, I'm loving the Dragon Quest series, and I'm starting the Etrian Odyssey series soon.
Ooh,
hell yes.
Yeah.
Nice to hear. Glad to hear we've been able to get great choices.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to say this, I know Steve agrees. If you haven't played Chrono Trigger yet,
play Chrono Trigger.
Play it. Thank you, Ethan. Next up is $2 from Santi the person, just saying, "Hey Ash," with a devilish grin. I don't know what this devilish grin is supposed to mean. I don't know if you have some sort of scary plans for me. I don't know if you're hitting on me. I don't know what that means.
All of the above,
yes. But thank you, Santi, for the $2 and for the mysterious smiley face. Jacob Matza with $5. Thank you very much. Since Google has said they are bringing Google Play games to PC, does this change your opinion on mobile games at all? Not really. No, I don't really find that the two are really linked in any way. So no.
I mean, they could still be good. I mean, it's on a platform I have a slightly better chance of playing it on. It's not the fact of the mobile games. I don't want to play on this.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I don't have anything against mobile games, period. I just don't really want to play most games on a platform without physical buttons. I know I can get like a holder thing with buttons, but I don't really want to do that. So rhythm games on mobile are cool, but I'm just not really into playing most other games on mobile. But thank you, Jacob. Game Belt Summit with a $1 super chat, and I know the message isn't there, but it's right below it. And you said, first super chat, and this was floating in my mind. Will flash or hard drives become gaming consoles in the future? A device that plugs into the TV without any necessary setup. That's part one. Part two is this would be something Microsoft, PlayStation, or maybe Nintendo could take advantage of, as I think it would be a powerful USB. Thank you, and keep up the amazing content. Well, thank you, Game Belt, for the super chat. It sounds what you're talking about is essentially like plugging like what are those things called? I actually have one. I forgot, like BlackBerry,
like a Fire Stick or a Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry. I have like a Raspberry Pi emulation thing. This literally is just a box that plugs into my TV. I don't know if that's what you mean. What do you get from that, Steve?
It sounds to me like what I would describe, or what the image that conjures for me is like a Amazon Fire Stick or something that really just plugs into an HDMI port on your TV and is like a stick, and that's it. Like there's no visible hardware. And I would say not for the foreseeable future, unless there's some like dramatic change in how technology is built. Just because, I mean, look at how big like the PS5 and the Series X are. They're friggin' huge. And the reason for that is that while CPU and GPU sizes are actually getting smaller, like they're taking up less space, they basically make them bigger, like to compete, like to generate these insane graphics that we see on screen. So I mean, you look at the Nintendo kind of played the console like generational game very well in terms of the fact that at the Wii they started releasing intentionally underpowered hardware, and it enabled them to go from, you know, this kind of impossible seeming jump from the Wii U, which was large, typical console size, to the Switch, which is way smaller but is more powerful. And but that's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. I don't think that anybody's going to be able to pull that off again without a dramatic downgrade, right? Like, so if you take the PlayStation 5 and reduce, like, cut its size in half without like a new processor or something, you're just going to have to you're going to have to cut corners. And I don't think we've reached a point technologically where something like that would happen. I think the closest thing you're going to see is Microsoft is going to release like an Xbox streaming stick that you can plug in like that and play Xbox games. But it's not going to actually play the games on it. It's going to just stream them from the cloud. I do see that happening. I don't see consoles going that way, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, I wanted to throw that to you, Steve, because clearly out of the three of us, you are the tech
I don't know
guy.
what I'm talking
about. So yeah. Hell, I just called a Raspberry Pi a BlackBerry, so that tells you everything of what you need to know. You know, I like tech, but I'm not I'm not an expert on tech like the way Mr. Bowling is over here. But thank you for that question, Game Belt Summit. That was great. All right, one more super chat for now, and then we'll move on to something I think we're all looking forward to talking about. Shulchin with €5. Thank you very much. Hey guys, I love the show and wanted to know, what are your opinions on pro wrestling? Did you ever watch it or play the games? The PS2 games are great. I was into wrestling as a kid. As like a small kid, I used to watch WWF. At the time, I thought Hulk Hogan was really cool, and that was obviously way before he became really problematic. But yeah, I mean, as I got older, like by the time I was a teen, I didn't care about wrestling anymore, and I still don't really. But I played some of the games on N64. I don't know which one, I couldn't tell you, but I played a couple of good N64 wrestling games. That's kind of where it stops for me, though. What about you guys?
Basically the same. I watched wrestling as a kid. My grandparents were really into it, so I'd watch with them. Mainly WCW on my end, although in high school I'd hear about the WWE era, and I saw a couple of the classic WWE matches. Like I think I did watch that. I don't even know if you guys will know what I'm talking about. The Mankind versus Undertaker, cage match.
Slams him through the cage.
Yeah, which dear God, that is memorable.
Brutal.
Also watched when The Rock was the heel, like the bad guy in all this situation.
Oh, yeah.
And that
part
was
of
that's something fun to watch.
Wasn't he part of the Nation of Domination, I think?
Yes, that is exactly right.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. I was also there for when Goldberg was doing his like 100 win streak. Although a lot of those were just like jobbers that he'd just go in, spike them in like 2 minutes, and then leave.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I find wrestling entertaining, I guess, when I happen to just see it on, but it's not something that I would like go out of my way to watch. But I find it cheesy, and I like cheesy things, so it's funny, but I don't go out of my way for it.
It's entertaining. I don't watch it like I used to. It sounds like Derek and I probably watched around the same time. Like I fell off around the same time, but I enjoy the games. My love of wrestling has changed over from the actual wrestling to the games, because the games are just so over the top and stupid that like I really
there hasn't been a lot of great games recently.
Right. I was gonna say the last couple WWE games were terrible. But I don't dig the whole career mode or anything like that. Like I don't need story in my games, but I do like creating the most like weird looking wrestler I can create and just having him beat down on all these legendary, famous people. Like I'll make a guy who's like 100 pounds soaking wet and has male pattern baldness and and is somehow beating up like Macho Man Randy Savage. I enjoy that. And so me and my friends would often like just try to make the most cringeworthy create a character. In fact, WWF Raw. I'm saying F because it was still WWF back then. But WWF Raw for the Xbox. I was on a trip with someone and I brought my whole original Xbox. And I went to
nice.
GameStop and I bought an RF modulator so we could play it on his grandma's like super old TV. And we were in bunk beds, and I was in the top bunk bed, and I spent like 4 hours making my dad in WWF Raw, and I gave him. So my dad does this weird thing. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching, I'm about to kind of make fun of you. But my dad does this weird thing. He never smiles. He just shows you his teeth. He goes like that, and so I gave him Triple H's ring entrance, and if you don't know Triple H, back when he was wrestling, like back in the day, I'm talking like 2001, 2002, his ring entrance was that he'd come out with a bottle of water like one of these, he'd pour it all over himself, take a sip and spit it and growl. And the animation that they gave in this old Xbox game for his growl was my dad's smile. It was
That's so funny.
And so I didn't know that. And so I make my dad, and my dad has a body that I can only describe as Santa Clausy in nature. So like, big belly, little legs, little arms, maybe Robotnik-y would be better. But either way, so I made my dad, and I gave him his little shoulder tattoo. And of course I made him shirtless because who wouldn't? And he comes out, he does the Triple H intro. He pours the water on his head, spits the water, does the smile. And I lose it. When I see this, I'm laughing so hard. It's like 2:30 in the morning at this old woman's house, and I am dying laughing. My friend and I are like dying laughing so hard. I can't breathe. I fall out of the bunk bed and like smack my head on the floor. And it's so funny that I don't even pause to like experience the pain of that. I'm still laughing. This old lady throws open the door. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with your friend?" And my friend is like pointing at my dad on the screen, and this lady doesn't know my dad. She doesn't understand why it's funny at all. She's like, "You guys are idiots." And she closes the door.
Hey, at least that's as far as it went. She didn't tell you to go home and be like, "Call your parents. You're going home. You're too loud." So
I would not have wanted to explain to my dad that I was mocking him in an Xbox game.
Yeah, I don't think he'd appreciate that.
No. Yeah. God, this is only like kind of adjacent, but it just reminds me of a really embarrassing story that I had related to my dad when I was a kid. He had dropped me and my buddy at the time to go see the South Park movie, and he was going to go watch or to go run a few errands while my buddy and I watched the South Park movie. And it turns out he finished his errands sooner than he thought he would, so he decided to just buy a ticket for himself and watch the last hour with us or whatever. And I swear to God, he came in at the exact moment the talking clitoris scene started. He like slid in next to me and my buddy and started, he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna watch a movie." And it was right when the talking clitoris started. And it was just one of those, when you're watching a movie with your parents and like a sex scene happens and it's just, the worst experience. And it was something that stuck with me because it was just like, I kind of looked at him and he kind of looked at us and we were just like, we stayed and watched. He didn't make us leave, but he knew it was South Park, but it was just like really awkward. But not shirtless. My dad was wearing a shirt when he came to the movie, so I mean, it is not a shirtless dad story.
I think he knows the job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really quickly, before we move on to one of our main topics of the day, I want to call out something that our good friend Top Dog said, as highlighted by Juan Delgado in our live audience chat. Top Dog has beaten classic Mega Man 1 through 4 and is really enjoying 5. Nice. Hell, 5 might even become my favorite classic Mega Man game. And Top Dog, you have good taste because Mega Man 5 is my favorite classic game too.
Wait till they get to 6. That's the best one.
6 is really good too, though. 6 is underrated as hell. But I could easily fall down the rabbit hole talking about Mega Man. Steve, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I love that even though we haven't called it out probably in half a year, our audience still mentions the Mega Mention of the episode,
because it does always happen.
Yeah,
there hasn't been a Mega Mention in a little while though, has there? I've kind of been dropping the ball on that, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know.
Dropping the Mega Ball on that. But yeah, so I'm glad to hear you're enjoying Mega Man, Top Dog, and that you love Mega Man 5 so much. Keep at it. And as Derek said, Mega Man 6 is great and it's very underrated. With that said, we're going to read out the rest of the super chats later on in the episode, but we have a new frontier of discussion to discover. I don't think it's a discussion we wanted to have about this game, but it is one that we're going to have. And that is, of course, IGN has released now 2 gameplay videos of Sonic Frontiers. It is the debut of Sonic Frontiers gameplay. And I don't think it was the debut that a lot of us wanted to see. And so I think we're all pretty. I mean, you saw the thumb. The thumb has Sonic's render where he's like, "Oh God." I mean, that's kind of what we're all feeling as we look at this gameplay. Like, what are Sega thinking? Why did they think this was ready to show off? It's not universally horrible. It's not the worst thing we've ever seen, but it's got this really weird pre-alpha vibe to it. Not it doesn't have the vibe of a game that's coming out in November. I can say
really
that.
hope this is just the beta footage or something like that. That's not complete, but it's like the most stable, because there's so much popping on this game. There's so much popping for stuff. And I'm sorry, some of these attack animations remind me so much of 06.
Yep.
It really has weird. A good enough feel to it. Like Sega was like, yeah, all right, we're done. I mean, there's a lot that I have trouble with. I agree, Derek. The pop-in is really horrendously bad. Like, you're really close to things when they pop in. Like, I want to be clear. Like, if stuff pops in, like, far away, I'm okay with that. But when you're right next to it and then it appears, I get that Sonic moves fast. I totally get that. But it is egregious. The other thing that really drives me crazy, and I don't know how y'all feel about this, is just the floating rails seemingly everywhere.
They look so out of place, right?
They really
like they go nowhere.
They're just lines in the sky. Like, it's really
kind
weird.
Of feels like, oh hey, this is what the ground looks like in Rail Canyon.
Yeah.
You just look up and see all the rails. But even that had like tracks and whatnot. Like, it was ostensibly trains and mining operations and whatnot. But just it's so weird. Like, open world Sonic as a concept is a really good one, but this presentation,
and here's the thing: it's like just the running. I wish there was just more of Sonic running, because when he's just running, that looks like it feels good. I want to take, I want to run as Sonic through this huge open world. That looks like it feels good. The platforming even looks like it's maybe feels okay, but everything else just doesn't.
I gotta disagree with you on
and
that
I mean,
one.
and that's being kind. Yeah, like Steve, I was gonna say, even that's being kind. I wouldn't even call the platforming okay, really. It just looks I've seen worse, but I will say the running, though. I think the running looks like it feels good, but that's only one part of the whole thing. And here's the thing: he's running through a world that's vaguely semi-realistic. It doesn't really have that vibrant pop art aesthetic that Sonic is known for, and I just don't know if I really want to see Sonic in a world that looks like this. I don't. And then you've got the weird, like, soft ambient orchestrated music, and it's perfectly fine music, but for Sonic, like, it reminds me of, as you said, Steve, PSO or Breath of the Wild even.
Yep.
That's not what I want out of Sonic music. Like, I don't know. The whole vibe of this game is throwing me off a lot. And I know we've only seen one part of it. It's in its pre-release. I'm not, like, judging the game, in any sort of finality. I'm still going to play it, but I was really hoping for something more from the gameplay debut, I guess. But I am curious, because Ashley Bird did say you're one of the 4 people that actually thinks it looks great. And I'm curious what you like about it. Not roasting you or anything. I'm genuinely curious, like, what it is that you think looks great about it, because I want to have that conversation. But yeah, so it sounds like the 3 of us are kind of more or less agreed on how Frontiers is looking so far. Yeah.
The thing is, even with its rough looking state right now, with proper editing and presentation, there's a way to make this trailer feel hype.
Sure.
But it's so lifeless.
Yeah.
And that's the issue right now. Like, you see this presentation, and it's just like, well, I compared it on Twitter to an ASMR. It's what it feels like. It's just like, and it's not like Breath of the Wild. And I don't want to make a lot of Breath of the Wild comparisons, because it's just different things. But Breath of the Wild felt like there was always something to do. And I look around here, as like, yep, those are rails with no context. Yep, that's a hill. Yep, there's an enemy. I don't know. Just nothing about it is clicking with me.
Yeah. Brandon said it immediately following the reveal in our Discord, and then thousands of people across the internet kind of echoed the same sentiment. But it really feels like a Unreal Engine fan game.
It does.
Like, down to the point of kind of using, like, the environment feels like something you would just get as like a stock asset. in Unreal. And then I don't know that Sonic needed tower climbing. Like, I saw that and I was like, why? Why is this a thing? Like, we should be the kind of essence of this series is momentum based gameplay, and stopping to climb a tower, just at least in the way they designed it. Like when I saw Sonic actually slowly like hand over hand climbing on something, I was like, what is this? Like, why?
It's like they allowed IGN to capture their own footage rather than, hey, here's our guy that knows what they're doing, playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I doubt that though, because if IGN got to capture their own, I bet they would have written an article based on their gameplay. I feel like this is just really bad B-roll. Like
yeah,
Sega,
that's what it gets. Yeah.
If I had to guess, Sega probably committed to this a very long time ago, and development is not as far along as they probably expected it to be by now.
Yeah.
And so they had to fulfill their contractual obligation with IGN to provide footage. But Evernight and Dad Alpha Lion just mentioned that Sega's not even signal boosting this stuff. Like they're not.
Oh no, they're
this.
not.
So
I'm pretty sure the Sonic Twitter, the Sega Twitter, is looking at this and like, yeah, this is probably not a good idea to highlight because we're just going to get more comments, and we don't want to deal with that right now.
Yeah.
And yes, I did know that this wasn't from IGN. I'm just saying it looks like it could be.
Oh
from
no,
IGN
I agree.
Because,
yeah.
You can kind of tell when you watch it though, because sometimes when you see as much B-roll sent over by publishers as we have, you can tell some of the things that they'll do. You can the slow pan of the camera around to show the environment. Like they're clearly trying to show some stuff off. The sad part though is that what they're showing off isn't really worthy of being shown off. And it's just I want to believe that this game can still come out and in a state that makes me happy, but I don't know if I believe it. I want to believe, much like Mulder. I want to believe, but I don't know if I do believe.
The problem for me is that the art direction really kind of sours my opinion of this game in a major way. Because you can fix a lot of what's shown in there. You can fix the the platforming, you can fix the stiff animations, you can fix that stuff. But there's no way they're ripping out the whole world and replacing it with something that fits better. And so I know that no matter how much they improve this game, it's still going to be that Unreal Engine stock ass looking world that it all happens in. And I don't know if they could contextualize it, like explain it away. Maybe Sonic gets transported to a whole other world. Maybe this is like a foreign place and it's supposed to be.
That's what I was going to say would be the one saving grace, is that this is like a hub world that's connected to worlds that look more like you'd expect from Sonic, right? More stylized.
Right. I'm kind of surprised though. Sega, for all of their experiments with 3D Sonic over time, they've never really experimented with the overall look and feel or the look of the game. Just give me a cel shaded 3D Sonic. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
You can do it. Just go back to like the weird fever dream ass stuff they were doing on the Genesis and put that in 3D, and I will buy it 5 times over.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Kingdom Valley from Sonic 06, just the overall look of the environment.
Yes.
And that's not a good thing.
That's the thing. It does remind me of so much of Sonic 06, and it's Ashley Bird did respond.
Yes, I just saw.
Saying, I've played games since the N64, so games being technically impressive doesn't matter to me in the slightest. Movement looks fun, which is generally the core of a fun Sonic game, and using the Sonic movement mechanics in Breath of the Wild style world seems like it'll be a blast. And I think that's why I'm not writing it off, because again, the concept of this game is good. It works. It's just the execution that I'm waiting to see. And I mean, they could pull it off, pull it around, and have something pretty great, or, well, we could just have a kind of lifeless game that is just sort of there.
And I do agree with one thing you said there, Ashley. The movement, as Derek just said, looks like it feels good. I like the way running looks. It looks like it feels great. I just want to run as Sonic, but everything else around it, I don't know. And the combat video that was released earlier today. So those enemies, first of all, the combat looks really, really flat and really just not interesting at all. But also, those enemies take so many hits. Sonic has to do the ring thing like 3 times, and hit him like 3 times, like 3 sets of times, I should say, before one enemy goes down. And I'm like, y'all, this is not that fun. Air doesn't look that
looks
fun.
like Shadow in '06 with the like hovering in midair, punch,
Yeah.
kick sort of thing, and like, oh no,
I
don't
will
do
say
that.
Sonic's one move that he does like a bunch of like a lightning legs, Chun-Li style, kicks a bunch of
Yeah,
energy
that's
waves.
cool.
That was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. But it doesn't look fun. The game just doesn't. The combat doesn't look fun. I'm not saying it won't be, but I just don't think this was ready to be shown off. And maybe Sega feels like their hand has been forced here. They have to show something. But man, I just rather than wait till they are sure it's ready, because given that Sega themselves haven't been signal boosting this, they I don't get the sense that they feel this is ready.
Yeah.
And
If we're only 5 months away from this game coming out and this is what we're seeing, I'm gonna hold out hope that this is just a very early build that they chose to give footage from, and that maybe what they're working on currently is a bit more tight. But yeah, the thing that gets me, and I agree that the movement, the running particularly looks good, but it's when you stop moving that the game starts to look like the seams show really badly. Like jumping doesn't look good, and that's kind of a big deal. So I'm hopeful though. Like you said, they've got 5 months to tune it up, and maybe this isn't representative of what is currently like the latest build of the game. So I'll definitely play it when it comes out. I pick up every Sonic game just cuz, but
same. Yeah.
I'm just not I'm not holding out hope for this one. Sonic Team has let me down just too many times with 3D Sonic. But Origins, we get Origins this year.
Well, and here's what's so funny is this is the same company, and I posted this in our doc of things to talk about today for this reason. Famitsu debuted a clip from Sonic Origins' animated intro. Oranges. From Origins' animated intro, and it looks great. Like, this is exactly what we want from Sonic. It looks perfect. And yet, this is the same company giving us two completely different things on the Sonic front, one of which is not decidedly what people want. The other, which is probably, I think, I can't speak for everybody out there, but when I see Sonic animated in this style in the classic series, it's incredible. Have you guys seen this clip yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
I
tried to load
I've
it
seen
and
the
it crashed.
I've seen the clip. It is fantastically done.
It's great.
It's your story set up for Sonic 1.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really well done. Makes you super excited for it. It's what you want to see. It's why I think Sonic Origins has just this magnetism to it, because let's be honest, a lot of Sonic fans are probably going to pick this up just because of these cutscenes. They want to see this animation because it is so well done, and there's other really cool things in as well. Like the game select has maps of all the games: Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and Knuckles.
That's so cool.
And you can see the representation of the various places along there. But even crazier is that the mission select is represented by Sonic Spinball's location, and the museum select is represented by Sonic 3D Blast's location, Flicky Island. Like,
they seem to be doing everything right with Origins in terms of doubling down on the fan service and the kind of fan service that Sonic fans crave. It's not out yet, so we can't say for sure, but it sure seems like they're doing everything right with this collection so far, other than the chart. Yes, the chart, that whole thing happened. But the game itself, the collection itself, seems to be solid from what we've seen so far. And so for that to exist right next to something like this gameplay debut of Sonic Frontiers, where it seems as though...
Uh-oh. Hold on, fellows. Something happened in OBS. OBS completely shit the bed. I think we're still live. I think they can hear and see me, but you guys are gone. Oh, wait. You know what? Hold on. They can hear you now, I believe. But they can't see anything. Like, all the OBS's browser, like built-in browser, has been dying lately. Like, I lost the chat and everything. Sorry, folks. It wouldn't be... They should be able to hear you. Oh wait, no. Okay, now they can.
Now
They can.
hear us?
Sorry, folks. Wouldn't be an episode of GVGcast without some kind of weird technical thing going wrong.
Okay, now we're back. It sounds like they can hear us now.
I put on promote a
well,
pet and it got cursed.
Apparently, Sega were like, nope, we're not doing this.
Every time we trash
No, we were
talk,
saying good things. They
I
let us
know.
talk bad things, and now
Yeah.
they're,
I know.
like was trying to say good things.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that does kind of, that's probably a good time to move on anyway. We said what we needed to say about Sonic Frontiers. I'm still, I think we're all still hoping for the best, but not the best way or not the best foot to start off on in terms of showing off what Sonic Frontiers is all about. But we'll see what happens. They still have a few months, which doesn't seem like enough, but I will cross my giant gloved fingers that this Sonic Frontiers turns out okay. Before we move on, though, we do have some more super chats to read out. So let's knock a few more of those out. First off is Mwape Mulinga with $5. Thank you, Mwape. The more I see the Street Fighter 6 trailer and analyze the trailer, the more I see Ryu as an alt-universe Steve. So, Steve, when is the Ryu cosplay?
I have to hit the gym quite literally for that to be worth your time. Trust me. But man, if I could, I would definitely try it if I weren't, in this body.
In this body.
I might need to spend like 2 years working up towards that. Real quick, gentlemen, would you like to move to Discord so that folks can see you during the show?
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
I can do that.
We can do that.
Okay, I will hop in with you guys. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to get them back on screen so that you can see them instead of just hearing them. I know they're wonderful, handsome folks, but
Okay.
give us just a moment to sort out the technical difficulties here.
Derek and I are now in Discord.
All right.
Let me turn my camera on.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yeah. I have to leave Video Adventure before Discord will accept my camera, so let me do that. There we go.
Okay, give me 1 sec here. I'm going to turn on. There we go. Okay, everybody, we're back. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get our my good friends and GVG co-founders back on screen for you. But
all right,
if you could give us a quick sound off and let us know that you can hear us still, see us.
Woo.
Yeah. Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Live audience chat is frozen for me too. I didn't realize that because Discord or because OBS. Unfortunately,
yes.
there's nothing I can do to fix live audience chat. I apologize, folks.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Live audience is the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's only for the last half hour or so of the show, and the live audience typically works perfectly fine in all of our streams. So sorry about that, everybody. Just blame Sega. Blame Sega.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Mwape. And moving on to a $10 super chat from Black Ninja. Nice to see you in chat. Thank you. 1, hey y'all. 2, been a long time since I've been here live. 3, regardless, I'm excited for Frontiers. 4, miss seeing y'all. 5, hope all is well. 6, hoping for Conduit remasters in Nintendo Direct this month. I keep that hope alive, man. You are the one person out there keeping hope alive for Conduit remasters, and I respect it. So, as a Mega Man fan, I respect keeping hope alive for something that may never happen. So keep it going, man. And great to see you, Black Ninja. Thank you. Vedron with $2. Thank you very much, Vedron. Saying that Chun-Li though, yeah, that's the one character so far that in Street Fighter 6's design, I'm like, I like where they're going. I like I like the idea of them all being older and more experienced and veteran fighters, but something about her feels a little bit off to me. But that serves as a perfect segue to talk about Street Fighter 6. We wanted to talk about that today too. And like I said earlier, yes, most of the roster has been leaked. We're not going to be talking about that because we don't want to spoil it for anybody. But Steve, I know during State of Play, when we were reacting to this live, you really liked the overall visual direction, right?
Yeah, I would say that Chun-Li is by far my favorite redesign. Well, I guess we only saw 2 redesigns, right? We saw Ryu and we saw Chun-Li.
Right.
I've seen more, but
Yes.
Oh, I've definitely looked at them
too.
all. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's characters for me. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
exactly. I don't think that it's a spoiler to know who's going to be in the game. I don't look at it the same way I look at a Smash reveal, because Street Fighter generally isn't surprising in that same way. But I don't want to spoil, for anybody who feels differently. But I would say Chun-Li is probably the most welcome redesign for me. She looks, for one, she actually looks, like a Chinese woman in this one, as opposed to vaguely like I don't know what in the other games. I think her model was pretty bad in a Street Fighter 4. There is one other character that I wish I could talk about, because I think it's a dramatic improvement for that character.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Ash knows.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
What country?
The
U.S., right?
The U.S.
Yeah,
absolutely. The U.S.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I'm tracking down.
If you know how I feel about certain Street Fighter character models, then you know.
I think I know.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's pretty obvious if you think about it. But
Okay.
I will not be responding to any guesses. But I think overall, like, I'm pleasantly surprised, because holy hell did they do a turnaround from that reveal. One, like Daniel was saying, they changed the logo and it's far better. It is dramatically better.
I still don't love it though.
I don't think it's the best logo, but I think it goes
better though.
I mean, it at least makes sense. Like it, you turn it on one side, it's a 6. It's got the Roman numeral for 6 in it too. It's got the S, if I remember correctly. Daniel did a breakdown of it on Twitter that's really good. Let's see. But yeah, there are characters that I think are really good in this. And I think all the designs, at least from the way that I've seen them, are very on point. I think they're by and large, it looks like it'll be far better looking than
good
5.
Updates.
Yep.
For the returning cast that we have. I also, it's been pointed out by Cornflakes in the live audience, but I wanted to bring attention to it as well. I saw today that Chun-Li has a new voice actress. It's no longer Laura Bailey. It's the first time she's been voiced by an Asian woman. I forget her name off. I think Julie Kwan, I think her name is, but she voiced Suki in Avatar, which is awesome, because Suki is awesome in Avatar.
I may have to give this a shot, because traditionally I do like the mixed voice option. So like I try to play the characters as close to their actual like ethnicity as possible. So like for Ryu, I'll use Japanese voice option. For Chun-Li, since there isn't a Chinese voice option, I'll use Japanese for her too. So I've not heard a whole lot of Laura Bailey's representation of Chun-Li, but I'll definitely switch to English for her for 6, just to hear an actual Chinese person play the character, because that would be really cool.
Her name's Jenny Kwan, by the way. Yeah,
Jenny Kwan.
Yeah, which I think is really cool that they cast an actual Chinese woman to play a Chinese woman. That's obviously great. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way, Steve. I typically go character by character with my voice settings, more in terms of whether I like the voices or not, and less in terms of nationality. But that's a good idea. I wonder if they'll bring that back.
I will say it's kind of hard to listen to Guile in Japanese, like by a Japanese voice actor, because it's just a Japanese guy speaking to English. And I remember in Street Fighter 4, it was something like he'd go like, "Mission start," and I'm like, nope, we're done with this.
I will say for the new characters, and I'm not gonna give names or anything like that. I'm gonna talk about countries. I love the design of Mexico, France, and Italy.
Yes, agreed on all counts.
Italy is particularly interesting.
Yes, Italy is awesome.
Yeah, I dig it. I think that Italy has a really good character. I think that there's, I have to remind myself on the countries, because I don't have the info in front of me, so I'm going to look real quick. Let's see. Where are
it's really looking great. And there are some surprising returning characters. Some of the returning characters I would not have expected to return in a good way.
There's one very huge surprise in the returning roster that I'm thrilled about.
I'm not sure. I wish I knew which one you were talking about, because I'm not sure what would be a surprise for you, Steve.
I will say
I was surprised of.
I will say it's a see, I can't even say the country because it's too dead of a giveaway. Even if you don't really know Street Fighter very well. Saying the country, most people would figure it out because it's the only character to have ever come from this country.
Right.
The one thing
and Derek, I just posted in our crew chat to tell you who I was talking about. That I was surprised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That seems the one everybody generally seems surprised by. I'm not too familiar with that character. I will say one of my favorite newcomers in 5 returning is cool. I'll just put it again in there.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say
know.
I think I know who you're talking about, but
I
know who you're talking about. Yep. Yeah, I'm really happy to see that.
Enjoyed
character.
the little bit I played of 5. I really enjoyed playing them, so that's cool. There's honestly a lot of my favorites in here. There's one more I would have preferred to see in here, but no, I'm not going to be too upset, you know.
And they're going to be like a million seasons of DLC characters.
Oh, of
too,
course.
So,
for sure.
There's one character I want to point out in particular who's a new character.
The U.S. character.
The U.S. character. I didn't want to say their gender, but I don't want to give anything away. I love that design.
Hell yeah,
so much.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. Much. It's also a really big deal.
Very cool.
I feel like we're talking in coded messages here a lot, but
we really are. We have to because we don't want to spoil it all.
Yeah. Overall, I just want to say that I went from being extremely underwhelmed with Street Fighter 6 to being mildly interested to now being like super hyped. I'm all in for this now.
Yeah, same. I'm really excited about what I'm seeing here.
I picked up Street Fighter 5 when it first came out and barely played it. It's just like, this wasn't what I was hoping for. Because I remember 4 and then the way they were talking about how they were doing the DLC is like, okay, I think I can get into this. I'll check it out. And I just barely played it. And then, but this, if we're all hyped the way we think we are, I have people to play this with. I'll get my butt kicked.
I will absolutely play the ever-loving crap out of this. I'm just looking at... And one thing I can say is, so for those of you that don't know, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but these leaks are character art. They're not like the in-game models. But a couple of other leaks actually have shown models for these characters. So for instance, one of the characters that is in here that has been publicly revealed is Ryu. And so you can kind of see that the art and the model are actually pretty close to each other. Other characters, their models have leaked as well. And I'm not going to name them, but it seems like Capcom has done a way better job kind of bringing them closer to the concept art. Like with Street Fighter 5, the characters didn't look anything like the concept art that they showed off beforehand. Like you got these really big, very awkward looking. I think RE Engine was a really good choice for this game because they make some pretty compelling character models with it.
I've never been let down by their RE Engine.
Yeah,
it's always looked fantastic.
It's very impressive.
And so versatile because when I was always thinking of Resident Evil, and then I was like, I heard it being used for Devil May Cry 5. And I'm like, I don't know if that'll work too well. And then it was amazing, and now it's being used for a fighting game. It's like, my God, this thing is really well done.
Yeah, I'm really liking
it. Trying to rise too. Yeah,
the overall visual direction of this. I went like you, Steve. I went from kind of on SF6 to I want to play this. When can I play it? Let's go. I'm excited for sure.
One thing I think is really interesting, and Capcom revealed for this game a new mechanic called the drive system, which essentially shows it lets you do all kinds of different things. They have drive impact, which is essentially like the focus attack from Street Fighter 4, where you can basically take a hit and still deliver an attack without getting stunned. They have parries, which of course, we're all familiar with that from Street Fighter 3 and then 4 and then 5. They've got some new ones called the overdrive art, which is that's just a new name for special attack game or special EX moves. Sorry, I'm all over the place. The drive rush, which apparently lets you dash in towards someone after parrying an attack, but it costs a lot of meter apparently. And then finally drive reversal. But the thing I find interesting about all of these things is that Capcom also outlines that they have the classic control type, which for those of us that have played Street Fighter for a long time is your quarter circle forward, your complex moves. But then they have what they call modern control type, where special moves and supers can all be done with no more than 2 buttons.
Oh,
So
wow.
like they're saying you can do like your super move with just R2 and triangle, for instance. I'm like, that's kind of cool to lower the
Yeah.
skill
Yeah.
barrier for people. I don't know that I would want to use modern control type just because I feel like it'd trip me up after decades of playing these games. But I like that the option is there so that there's, people don't have to learn and memorize all these motions to be able to, feel like they've got a shot at victory.
Yeah, I know. I like the accessibility angle there for the modern control scheme. Like, fighting games aren't always known for being the most accessible genre, and so I like that Street Fighter 6 is seem to be taking pains to make it more approachable for non-fighting game experts. One thing I'm also really curious about is the World Tour, which they call an immersive single-player story experience. And I say that because, yes, I know fighting games aren't about the story, but I like Street Fighter's story and characters and world. And so far, Mortal Kombat has had the single-player story fighting game experience on lock, in my opinion. And Street Fighter 5 didn't do it. Didn't do it for me in terms of the story.
But it is a post-Shadowloo world, so they can go in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, so I'm really curious how they're going to present the story. My hopes aren't high, but I hope they get it right, because I've always found Street Fighter's story and universe to be really interesting, and one I'd like to spend more time in. So
Yep.
hopefully they nail it on the story front, too. One thing I also found to be funny is that Luke has apparently been confirmed to be a gamer, because of course he has with that design. Of course he has. He's a gamer. Okay. I still think Luke looks really stupid personally, but
Yes.
yeah, really bad design, which is why I'm glad so much of the rest of the roster looks so cool and that they're nailing
You
it
could
on
just
that
ignore
front.
Luke.
Exactly. All right. Well, it's already 6:15. Well, Pacific time is 6:15, and we still have Patron topics to get to. So I think we'll probably go ahead and move on to that segment of the show. But let's read out a few more super chats first. First is Mick Spock, which I love that name. I say it every time, but I love it every time. Mick Spock with $1.99. Thank you very much. Saying, I'm really liking the Street Fighter 6 redesign so far. Same. We just got done talking about how much we agree with you. Rec BCQ again with $2 more. Thank you. GVG got 3 dads just in time for Pride Month. Yep, you got us 3 dads. Only 2 of us who are biological dads, but hey, I'll
We've
take
got
the
3
credit.
biological
We got
dads.
3
too.
dads,
No matter
yeah.
what way you slice it, GVG's got at least 3 dads.
Fair enough. All right, LC Lapin with $2. That's a new name that I haven't seen before. Thank you, LC Lapin. One other thing that could save it: Chow Garden. Chow Garden would be, I think, something that people would love to see return in any Sonic game, including Frontiers, for sure. And Hits Over Hype. I love that name. Hits Over Hype with $4.99. As a diehard Sonic fan, as soon as I saw they were bringing over the model and all animations from Sonic Forces, I knew it was a wrap for this game. I'm not going to say it's a wrap for this game yet. I still, I still am keeping a little hope alive, but I understand where you're coming from, and I see why you feel the way you do. Thank you, Hits Over Hype. Okay, let's go ahead and cut it there for now. I will read out the rest of the super chats before the end of the show, but now we have our patron topics. As a reminder, every week we put out the call for our patrons at the producer tier and above to suggest questions and topics for us to discuss every week right here on GVGcast, and that is what we are about to do. If you want to find out more about that, though, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming. Okay, guys, Derek, why don't you start us off this time?
All right, I thought I'd choose a fun one because I got a suggestion here from Akil P, who says, video game characters can have really weird, funny, atypical names. What are some of your favorite out there character names from games? And I'll be honest, I had to go to just one because it is the most ridiculous name I've ever heard in my life in any game, and I will never forget it, even though the game is completely middling in my opinion. So, Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Exactly who I'm talking about.
Yep.
The protagonist's name in that game is, no joke, named Fate Line God.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's spelled weird too. Fayt.
Yeah,
Fate's
and Line God is
yeah.
LEI and then God.
Yep.
What is that name?
That's a good one. I hadn't even considered Fate. That's a good one. I completely forgot about that game.
It's the first thing that comes to my mind is just as far as ridiculous names. I also love that I have on his wiki page here his relatives. His mother, Ryoko Line God. His father, Robert Line God.
Jeez. I had a couple of answers for this. Like one that I thought was kind of just weird and kind of eh. Y'all know I'm not a big fan of FF12, but there's a character in FF12. Her name's Ash, and her full name is Ashalia. I don't know how to say this. Ashalia Benargan Dalmasca,
Oh
which
yeah.
is just a really dumb. I mean, Dalmasca, that's the kingdom that she's, that's fine. But Benargan, Ashalia Benargan Dalmasca. I know I'm saying that wrong, but I just always thought that was a really dumb name. But the one I really wanted to highlight, and the Mega Man fans out here know where I'm going with this probably, Duff McWhalen. If you know your history about Mega Man
that
X5,
is an amazing name.
no. If you know your Mega Man X5 history, you know that the localization person in charge of the Western version, I believe it was her, either a voice actor, I don't know, but I think her husband was a fan of Guns N' Roses. So as a tribute to him, she renamed the Mavericks in X5 after Guns N' Roses members. So like Spiral Pegasus became the Skiver, and Tidal Whale became Duff McWhalen. And I just, where do you even go with that?
So 2 Mega mentions in one episode. You
I
trying to
know,
make up for
right?
lost time?
I guess so, yeah. I just really couldn't think of a good answer for this question. I was thinking Kingdom Hearts. I mean, like, this is basically Kingdom Hearts, the question. Xemnas, Zigbar, Xion. There are so many ridiculous names in Kingdom Hearts, but I had to go with Duff McWhalen. Come on. I mean, it's Duff McWhalen.
I'm gonna go for a deep cut on this.
All right.
And it's not what you would think, but when I think ridiculous names in games, my brain immediately goes to Punch Out. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you're
sure.
probably thinking that I'm gonna say Soda Popinski or Vodka Drunkinski, but I'm gonna go a little deeper. Pizza Pasta.
Yeah.
That is from the Italian boxer in the arcade version of Punch Out is fucking named Pizza Pasta.
Yep.
Which it doesn't get. I mean, it doesn't get
one.
more racist than that, really. But
No,
on top
it really
of that-
doesn't. Pizza Pasta.
It's pretty great. I actually brought up a list here of just other ridiculous names. Apparently, this is from a kind of a parody game called Zettai Hero Project. The villain is named Dark Death Evil Man,
Which sounds like a Kojima
right. Dark Death
name.
Evil Man.
which
Yeah.
is almost as ridiculous as Kojima's Hot Coldman.
Yep.
Yeah, or Die Hard
Also,
Man.
Die Hardman, Hot
Yeah.
Coldman. Yeah. Those are good ones too. Metal Gear Solid is a treasure trove of these. Another one from Mega Man, X6 in this case, Metal Shark Player. The fuck is a Metal Shark Player? Like, what can you even say? What is that? What is a Metal Shark Player?
I would love to hear the outtakes from the announcer who had to say those.
I know, right? Yeah, so there's no shortage of ridiculous names in video games. And by the way, I wasn't making fun of Xion. Somebody said that in Esax08 in our chat. You dare make fun of Xion? Xion is one of my favorite characters in Kingdom Hearts. But let's be real, Kingdom Hearts is just a cavalcade of ridiculous character names. If we're just being real about it.
Star Ocean apparently too. We got it from Last Hope, Edge Maverick.
Edge Maverick, right? I forgot about that. Yep. Oh man, I feel like this could be its own discussion. Just silly video game character names. but yeah, thank you, Akil, for that one very funny question. There were ones I hadn't even thought of, like Pizza Pasta. Good lord, that's racist. Oh my god.
Vodka Drinkinski is arguably worse, but
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, no, it is. All right. Well, Steve, you also have a patron question or
I
topic to
do.
discuss this week. So what are yours, man?
So my question this week comes by way of Dat Alpha Lion, who writes, how often do you game on handhelds nowadays? Same with local and or split screen multiplayer, or is it always online with you? I've been getting a lot of mileage out of my 3DS and Switch undocked. Well, thanks for the question, first of all. I tend to play handheld quite a bit on my Switch because I don't like my couch. My couch is wildly uncomfortable to sit on for extended periods. So I will often take my Switch to my room and just like flip out the kickstand and grab the Joy-Con and play in bed tabletop mode and handheld, same difference. But I play my Switch that way quite a bit these days. It's almost like 70-30 that I play it just while laying down somewhere because I need to buy a new sofa. But as for multiplayer, it's kind of hard. Like my best friend, as I mentioned many times, moved away to Colorado. So whenever he's in town or I'm at his house, we definitely play couch co-op. And once a week I play online multiplayer with him. So I would say that I play a lot more online multiplayer than I do local, just because I don't really bring people over. But yeah, handheld gets quite a bit of use, but I haven't used my 3DS since I made that video about the Wi-Fi router, really.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for me, I almost never, really only when I'm traveling. I basically only play on my TV unless I'm traveling with my Switch. Then, of course, I'll bring my Switch and play on handheld mode. But when I get to my hotel room, you better believe I'm hooking that up to the TV and playing on TV. I don't dislike playing handheld games. I never have. But if I have an option, I'm usually going to pick playing on TV mode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also, it's not as though I'm traveling that often right now. I mean, I guess these days I kind of am. I went to PAX East, and then I went to go see my younger sister-in-law for her graduation from grad school in New Orleans. That's where I was a couple of weeks ago. And I did have my Switch and played some stuff on handheld mode there. But honestly, ever since the 3DS, kind of was sunsetted, I'm playing handheld games less than ever, unless I'm traveling. And that's really it, unfortunately.
I like having the option for the Switch, but I just don't get the chance. I used it for a while when Kai was a bit younger and easier to watch, that I could just have the handheld out and watch it play that way, or usually hook it up to the TV. But yeah, I just don't use handheld that much anymore. I just don't have the chance. I don't go anywhere. That's the thing. I don't go anywhere, and a lot of my free time gaming is now used for Final Fantasy 14, which, hey, there's my multiplayer, because that's how I get to play with Amy.
I need to jump in, because this is the second Final Fantasy 14 mention of the show.
Oh, when was the first? I don't even know.
Do you know a bard in Final Fantasy 14?
I know of the class bard, but what bard?
So well, you're talking to an idiot, but
Okay.
I don't know, but I got a chance while I was gone to hold, not to play because I don't know how to play a guitar, but I held the guitar that the bard plays in Final Fantasy 14, which has been made into a real thing. And I have some footage of it that I'll upload to the channel probably as a short eventually, but I need to find footage of someone playing the guitar in the game, because I'm in the unique position of having seen it in the real world and never having seen it in Final Fantasy.
I don't know if I know about a guitar playing bard in 14.
Yeah, so apparently
I know that Yoshi P is a bard that hangs out, that you get some special stuff from it on occasion. But
so what I was told, my brother, so some background, my brother runs a music store, and his boss ordered a Final Fantasy guitar, and she called him and said, "Hey, your brother's on YouTube and he talks about video games. Do you think he'd want to see this guitar we ordered for your store?" And so they invited me to come down after the store closed, and they opened this guitar. It's like in a beautiful leather case with like a numbered Final Fantasy 14 badge on it. And then you open it up and it's like this dark black guitar, but if you light it from behind, it's actually like blue and purple. It's really cool. I mean, I don't know how to play guitars, but someone played some songs on it for me, and I got to watch, and it was really cool.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, I guess they released a Fender guitar, and there is, I guess there's an emote.
Right, that's what I was told. So I got to see the
so you
Fender.
have seen the, okay, I'm looking it up now. So you've seen the etheroelectric guitar. It's black and lights up blue in one corner, purple or pink in the other.
Yes. I've seen that.
That's really neat.
Apparently you can, it's a furnishing you can get that you can put in your house that you get for the gold saucer. And yeah, if you play a bard, it's added to your performance mode when people are performing as a bard in the game. You can play any song. That is one of the items that they can play.
That's so cool.
That guitar is $3,500.
Yes, it is insanely expensive, but it is really cool. And I suppose if you are in the narrow cross section of people who love Final Fantasy 14 and play the guitar at a high enough level to warrant buying a $3,500 collectible, it's really cool. But yeah, I had seen that. I'll post some footage of it eventually. I just need to find a way to find a bard. I guess I have to reactivate my Final Fantasy 14 sub and just run around asking people like, "Hey, do you have this?"
Yeah. Before I move on to my patron topic, I do have to point out this amazing instance of wordplay here in our live audience patron chat. So our beloved patron, Dat Alpha Lion, and I have disagree on the Guns N' Roses names in Mega Man X5. Dat Alpha Lion loves them. I hate them. I think it's a good thing that the X Legacy collections remove them. They do not. But RecBCQ in response to this said polarizing opinions, scary. To which Larkrin replied, "I heard it's got fans Duff McWhalen on each other," which is really good, Larkrin. Well played. I had to put that out there. That's great. Okay, well, I also have a topic, a patron suggested topic this week, and that is from Charlie Bird. Charlie Bird asks, in honor of Pride Month, who are some of your favorite LGBT characters in games? And that's a perfect question to kick off Pride Month, Charlie. So thank you for that. And there are a few that I could talk about, but really the first one that came to mind for me is Vivian from Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Vivian was apparently a trans character in the original Japanese version, but was of course not in the Western version because of how we are, unfortunately. And yeah, I always loved Vivian's design. I thought, this is a great character before I knew that aspect to Vivian's character. And I think, I've always loved Vivian, and that is my easy answer in terms of like the character I thought of immediately. Of course, there are others. I mean, Ellie is a big one. Ellie's a great character. For me, a more recent character, obviously, The Last of Us. Yeah, but I know, Derek, you had one in mind, right, when we were talking about this earlier?
First one that came to my mind was Poison.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, Poison.
I don't even know if they consider. That one's weird. Same with this and Birdo. It's like, are they trans, or is it just people? They got adopted into being trans because of the version differences. So I don't know if that's official or not.
I'm not. I think it is. Not sure though.
If I remember correctly, so in the original Japanese design docs for Poison, she was mentioned to be a trans character, using a pejorative term for a trans character from the time that was like a Japanese pejorative for it. So I think it's always been that Poison was trans, at least in Japan, and then I think in the US they kind of scrubbed that part out and then re-added it back in later. Because I think we're talking like 1989 when they designed Poison, and so in America, people were like la 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 la.
A lot of people in our chat are saying Madeline from Celeste, which is a great suggestion. Madeline's a great character, absolutely. And also, I have to put this out there: Flea from Chrono Trigger. Flea was one of the first LGBT characters that I can think of. I mean, I know Birdo was probably the very first, maybe.
Yes,
but
Birdo
Flea,
was my pick. Also, because I only learned about that because of the vibrator scene in Captain Rainbow for the Wii. Like I was like, wow, what?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's part of the reason that Captain Rainbow never came out in America, because one of your missions is to go get Birdo her vibrator.
Jeez, I did not know that.
And like if I remember correctly, he like picks it up and it's like a pixelated thing in his hand, and they're like, "You got her XXXX."
Gee, I wonder why this was never localized.
Yeah, can't imagine.
You also had Fat Little Mac in that game, which was fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
He was all out of shape, and he had a disturbingly large belly button that was like an Audi. It looked like a pumpkin for some reason. But yeah, I would say Birdo is probably my favorite trans character, because I like the idea that the Mario, like close, somebody that's been in a Mario party is trans. I like that.
Yeah. Another one, Master of Hamsters brings up, and I was going to mention as well, Zagreus from Hades. And I mean, I feel like I got to bring up Hades because that'll turn anybody bisexual.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Yeah, Zagreus is great. Kaine is another one from Nier that has been brought up quite a bit, Derek. And I know, you were the one who played Nier Replicant. And I remember you talking about
Kaine is great.
Yeah, I remember you talking about Kaine quite a bit. And I'm drawing a blank. Max and Chloe from Life is Strange. I think they would count, right? And they're great characters.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So no, there are it at first glance it's hard to think of like a bunch of LGBTQ plus video game characters, but the more you really dig in, there are a lot, and I'm glad to see that. There's, and there can always be more. Representation is so important, but just this discussion has gotten me thinking about characters I would not have thought of otherwise, like Madeline from Celeste. Great suggestions from our audience for this, so thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else, you guys wanted to mention anybody else before we move on?
No, I have a hard time. Like I should be better about it, but I'm just really bad about tracking that type of information about characters in the games I play. Like I don't, and I think it's just because I don't really think about sexuality in game, unless like sex is an element of the game I'm playing. I just don't really, it doesn't cross my mind too much. But I do love to see more representation, and like I'm looking through a list of characters right now, and I'm, I do like games like Assassin's Creed where you can choose. Like in the last several, you could you have romance options with both men and women, and you as the player get to make that choice, which I kind of like putting that in the hands of the player. But yeah, I think it's good to see like you mentioned already, Ellie, one of my favorite LGBT characters in all of gaming. And I'm just going to say canonically, Samus is probably LGBT as well. I refuse to believe she isn't.
I'm still shocked that Claude isn't bisexual.
Right?
Oh,
Claude has strong bisexual energy.
Oh my God, yeah. Like that feels like a missed opportunity.
So a few people have mentioned Edelgard, which I have not played Three Houses, so I can't comment on that.
Is she?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I want to say yes, because she is just completely all about the hero.
That's true.
Apparently she's canonically bi. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Cool.
Edelgard, best girl. I said it when the game came out.
Killamox also mentions Tracer from Overwatch, another good one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Chris from Deltarune says Jacomon.
Okay, I've not
now we're
played
just listing games I don't play to make me feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much to our live audience chat for putting forth so many great.
I should mention this because I discovered it while doing the Shin Megami Tensei retrospective, but Persona 2, all the way back in early 90s or mid 90s, with a gay romance option for the main character.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's really cool.
The first Persona 2, Innocent Sin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like all the other characters are like, huh, all right, well, that's a thing, but then they don't make fun of you or anything like that for you. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I'm learning so much today. Thank you for this awesome question, Charlie. And happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus rights are human rights. Happy Pride Month. And, we love you all out there. No matter who you are, we love you. And thank you for this awesome question, Charlie. And except for a few more super chats, that does bring us to the end of the show. But let's go ahead and read out a few more super chats. So, Pirate Jake with a $2 donation, thank you very much, asking, hey all, could you please read my message further down? And I've been looking for that, and I found it. Saying, hi, sorry, I couldn't fit my message in a super chat. Any recommendations for a traditional fighting game that does a good job teaching novices? I want to get Street Fighter 6, but I'm very unfamiliar with the genre. And Steve, I'll throw that one over to you, because I play a lot of fighting games, but I know you play more than I do. And
yeah. So the problem with recommending something like that is that every fighting game kind of has its own different quirks. And so I kind of can't recommend a non-Street Fighter game to you if Street Fighter is what you're interested in. What I will say, and we talked about it a bit earlier in the show, is that Street Fighter 6 appears to have what they are dubbing the modern control scheme, which will let you do, special moves and more complex stuff with just a couple button presses, which is great for accessibility, but also great if you're just kind of intimidated by the genre. Because I get it, there's a lot to learn. But the thing is, fighting games tend to change, like even within the series, like iteration to iteration. Like if you're really good at 4, that doesn't translate to 5. If you're really great at 3, that doesn't mean a whole lot when you're talking about 2. So they're all very different games. I would honestly recommend the best thing you can do is to just, one, play the tutorials that are in the game, because they'll walk you through a lot of the basics. Like they'll even have like left moves you backwards, right moves you forwards, so they do a pretty good job. And then beyond that, like if you can master the concepts in the tutorial, then it's about just playing people that are kind of around your skill level, playing people that are about as good as you currently are, with the hopes that you'll kind of intuitively
mode will help
improve.
you to a certain degree, at least get you comfortable performing the moves.
Exactly. Arcade mode is probably the best way for an absolute novice to start, because the CPU starts at like the lowest level and gradually gets more difficult as you win. And like most fighting games, I can't say this for 6, but if you lose, sometimes they'll drop the difficulty a little bit to get you past the hump. So I definitely recommend, like Derek said, arcade mode, tutorials. And hey, I'll always play with you. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself to be great. I played Brawly Legs and he humbled me pretty easily. So we've got players of all different skill levels in the GV gang over here. So, if you ever want to, hit me up. I'll play games with you.
And I think, like, to piggyback off of what Derek said, playing arcade mode also just helps you kind of get your fundamentals down, right? The fundamentals of movement and just kind of the idea of controlling your own space and such, that don't necessarily, as Steve said, there's just because you're good at Street Fighter 2 means nothing for Street Fighter 4, 5, 6, whatever. But just playing arcade mode can just help you get those basic fundamentals down, I think. Yep. And I think that there are certain fundamentals that can translate across fighting games, just basic movement and stuff. Maybe certain controller movements, like, quarter circle forward, right? Quarter circle back, half circle forward, things like that can maybe help.
I still suck at charge moves.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, I think just arcade mode and yeah, those my cohorts here already gave all the great advice you need. So thank you, Pirate Jake. Next is Wolverale12 with $5. Thank you. Once again, just like with Sprigatito, I'm with Ash on Team Violet for Miraidon. Hell yeah. Team Sprigatito, Team Violet. Actually, I think, Derek, you were the only one of us on Team Scarlet.
I was only Scarlet, but Amy's also Scarlet, which is great, but also like, oh, crap, we can't trade with each other.
Oh, right. That's true. Miraidon better. So cool.
Actually, we never heard from Brandon. I don't know if Brandon's still in the chat, but Brandon, Scarlet or Violet, if you're still in the chat. We'll
let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a good matchup. Wow. Scar the Dragon with $2. Luke from Street Fighter versus Cole from Mortal Kombat, the two most boring characters in their respective franchises.
I gotta go with Luke.
Cole. Really? Yeah.
I gotta go with Luke.
Luke actually seems to have powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm just going by design, and I just really don't like Luke's design. Cole at least is inoffensive. He's just boring. Luke just annoys me. But I guess in terms of power levels, we don't know that much about Luke, but I guess in terms of power, Luke probably wins.
I feel like Luke's new design is definitely an improvement over his 5 design.
Fair enough. That's a fair point.
It's funny because they're both MMA characters too.
Yeah, I guess, I gotta agree with you guys. At first I said Cole just because I find his design to be inoffensive, but if we're talking about powers, Cole basically has none, and Luke could probably kick his ass, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Luke. Thank you, Scar. Next is J2 Blue with $5. Thank you. There's no way Ryu is 187 pounds with all that muscle, LOL. You are so right, J2 Blue. There's no way. I've always found like official character height and weight measurements to be really funny in a lot of cases, because they often are not very realistic. And they don't really make sense if you really think about it, and that's a great example, J2 Blue. All right, and our last super chat of the day, I believe, is from Lizard81288 with $5. Thank you very much. What cheesy Resident Evil 4 one-liner do you want to return in Resident Evil 4 Remake? I also hope we can have a beer with Mike, too. Oh, there's so many. I mean, it's not cheesy, I guess.
First one that comes to my mind is, where's everybody going? Bingo?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I just really want the super cheesy merchant to come back. What are you buying? What are you selling? I'll buy it at a high price. I love that guy, and I hope he comes back in Remake. What about you, Steve?
I don't know quotes from that game well enough to I'm looking them up right now, and I don't, like, they're not even triggering my memory, so I have to pass on this one, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Only because I saw this question come up in the YouTube chat a few times. Brian Camargo 64 asks what I think of the original God of War trilogy. They're great action games, just not for me. I like new
Same.
Kratos. I like Dad Kratos. Old Kratos does nothing for me. as
I
a
will
character.
say it's actually as time goes on, I find it harder to go back to those games.
Uh-huh.
Like I think they're still
Yeah.
fun, but Kratos as a character has just become so boring.
New Kratos is so much more interesting, yeah, as a character, Dad Kratos. But yeah, I do believe, let me refresh the super chat list one more time, but I do believe that brings us, yes, to the end of episode 16 of the GVG cast. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We've had a great time. We hope you have too. And as always, we do have to give a special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show happen and submitting awesome questions for us to answer at the end of each GVG cast. Thank you all so, so much. But we also, as always, have to give an extra special thank you to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, amazing, wonderful, stupendous folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Sonic X Ethan Meyer, Logan Daniel, Christopher Baque, The D-Pad, Highly Anticipated, Vesmio, Waffle King, BeerJ373, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedron Hotik, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Pagrima, Geller, Joseph Rupkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem, Brady Power, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Captain Finlandia, Nathan Steele, Spicy Pand Otter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Rosa Pardo Bowling,
Hi, Mom. That's it.
Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Ditter Sonic, Darik, Jeff Ed, Nova the Artist, Blaystar 25, Dag Nasty, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Keel, Willow Pingree, Hustlebun, Moon Knight, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Ryan's Fault, Brainchild, Pat Pending, Jim Wakelin, Lauren Bond, Sridhar Ayala, Andy Mine P, Ad, Kyle the Monarch, Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Kyle Gamer and Barry Rookie, and last but certainly not least, Jay Brox. Thank you all so much for your incredible support of everything we do here at GVG. And if you want to find out more about how you can get on that list, as well as learn about all the other cool perks we offer our patrons, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming. And speaking of cool perks, we're about to head over to our patron exclusive post show, which we do after every week's GVG cast. So we're going to go do that. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next week. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.